Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be going over some of my favorite palettes for summer. So it's not officially summer yet, that's technically the end of June, but it's starting to get warm. I'm excited for warm weather. I can't wait for warm sunny days and for the gray of Seattle to go away for a couple months. So I am very excited to talk about some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes for summer. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I'm a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup, and I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So I have 10 palettes here. They're of different sizes, different price points, and I have a couple honorable mentions as well because I just had to. I didn't grab, there were some options that I almost grabbed that I avoided, like Natasha Denona Bronze, and some of those really neutral, like warm neutral palettes, because those I think are kind of an eternal all year palette. And they're the kind of palettes that people grab all the time anyway, at least a lot of people. So if it's really, and they, you know, they're good for fall, they're good for any time, but especially when it's warm out and you've got like a nice tan and then you put like a bronze eyeshadow on, you just feel great. So I felt like that was a little too obvious and a little too on the nose. So I tried to pick other things that might inspire you. And I don't think you necessarily have to rush out and buy a bunch of these or anything. You might already have some of these in your collection, or you might have something similar, and this might inspire you to grab the stuff that you already own a little bit more often now that the sun is coming out a bit more. So, for honorable mentions, the first thing I want to mention is the new Oden's Eye Solmane 2 palette. It is what I have on my eyes. I just filmed this look. I didn't include this because it is brand new and I haven't used it enough to give it a full review. But so far I really like it. Really love the blushes and the highlighters from this collection. That video should already be live, so I will link that above. But this is an honorable mention. It's beautiful, it's very summery. You've got cool tones, warm tones, you've got really beautiful shimmers. But since I've only used this once, even though I used a lot of the shades, I don't want to put it in here, so it's an honorable mention. Another one that I didn't actually grab, but I think is a really fun palette for warm weather, is the Sunflower palette from ColourPop. It's their all matte, yellowy, warm brown palette. That is it's like $12. It's really affordable, good quality, especially if when it's hot out and you don't want to wear a lot of makeup. That is one I will grab, and I'll put like 1 or 2 shades on my lids just to have something there and maybe a shimmer. So that's another one I do highly recommend. So since I just mentioned the new Oden's Eye as an honorable mention, I do want to put the Hummingbird palette as the first one I mentioned. Also, these are in no particular order. They're in a pile in front of me. But the Hummingbird palette was a collaboration with Tina of the Fancy Face and Oden's Eye, and it is so beautiful, and it just screams warm weather, summer, tropical vibes. This is sadly discontinued, but if you were one of the many people that grabbed this, I highly recommend trying to use it more now that the sun is out. Because when this came out, it was end of fall, early winter, and I know some people might have skipped it because of that. I bought it knowing I would use it anyway, but also especially now, and it's just so beautiful. I really love this palette. This hibiscus shade is so unique. The star apple shade is a really unique purple. I love this. It's got a beautiful multi-chrome here, and you can easily do an easy look with like red hills and beach sands, or even something like simple like your bronzer and then this like sandy colored shade. That's the kind of look I do a lot in the summer. So if you do have this, I highly recommend don't just leave it in your drawer, pull it out and use it this summer. Okay, so the next palette in my little stack is the Kaleidos Flower Pump palette. I love this. This I think was technically a spring release, and it does feel springy, but it also feels very summery to me. It just feels warm weather. So this is the one that they went unique with the packaging. So this is magnetic and just pops off, and it's a mirror. And then you've got the grungy earthy greens, and then these bright colors. So I will use these anytime. This Sun Gazer shade is a really beautiful olivey metallic that I wore a lot last summer. These peachy pink shades, beautiful. And then the mint shades are really pretty. And you can mix things around. A look that I did, I posted it once, but I did it multiple times last summer, was just putting Aloe Cove, this really beautiful minty dimensional shimmer, just put that on my inner corner, and then a little bit of bronzer on my lid, and that was it. And I love that look. And when it's really hot out, when it's like 80 plus degrees, I don't want to wear a lot of makeup, and so I tend to gravitate towards looks like that. So I will definitely be pulling this out this summer. Okay, so the next palette is also one that came out in the spring, and I kind of feel like it's a companion palette because I often want a darker shade to mix in with this, but I have plenty of dark browns and charcoals and stuff in my collection, so it's not hard, and I'm sure if you own any neutral palette, you probably do too. But this is the Roots palette from Lethal Cosmetics. This is a little 6-pan. The nice thing with Lethal is, let's say you really loved this, but you were like, I'm never gonna use that green. Let's put a dark shade to like deepen it up. You can do that. You can just customize the palette and put whatever you want in there. But this like egg yolk yellow, this really pretty springy summer green, really nice one and done shades. And the metallics in here are really pretty. This is a beautiful inner corner, like iridescent shade. And then this is one of my favorite Lethal shimmers. It's this really beautiful teal with a gold flip. It's so pretty. I don't remember the names, they're not marked here. But these are just so pretty, and I don't think these little 6-pans got enough attention. I think this is also really travel friendly. I have definitely swapped a couple shades out and taken this with me traveling. And you've got a nice mid-tone brown. And if you are a deeper complexion, you want a darker brown, you can easily swap this for a darker brown in their thing. You just hit customize, pick a different shade. And I think this is really cute. So I don't think this got enough attention. And plus it's got a really cool insect on the front. So highly recommend checking this out. I know I will be using these kind of blue shimmers a lot this summer. And then on the affordable of higher end eyeshadow palettes, I wanted to put in the mini gold from Natasha Denona. So this is $25, and this is another all year round palette for me. But if you want something that's like neutral but not just browns, I really love this. Especially for me as an olive, this kind of olive green is a neutral for me, but the brown here is beautiful. You can easily stay neutral and avoid the greens. You can incorporate the greens for that little bit of summery pop. I think this is one of her better, I think this and Mini Star are her top 2 mini palettes, and it's just beautiful. So I highly recommend checking these out. Yeah, something, if you use the really foiled gold, it can look really, really bold, but you can easily just use like the brown and this like greeny taupe and just have a really subdued but elevated look. So I really love this. Okay, and so the next palette in my little stack is the Team Trixie palette from Trixie Cosmetics. So this came out in this last spring, and it is a very springy palette, but I feel like that border spring summer are kind of a lot of the same vibes. So a lot of these could also be spring palettes, but it's just that warm, sunny weather. It makes you happy. They're happy palettes. So this is the Team Trixie palette. These retail for like $48, but you do get very big pan sizes. It's 21 grams, 21.6 grams of eyeshadow, and the quality is really, really nice. Plus you're supporting a small little queer-owned indie brand. So this is the palette, and you can see it's very, very bright and colorful. It does have some neutrals though. It has these pink leaning neutrals down here. Trixie doesn't make a palette that doesn't have at least some neutral in it. So you can use Bartender and Stick It and like Game Face as a very neutral look, but you've also got like one of the best mint shades I've ever used. Teal, one of the best yellow shades I've ever used. These are also fun for a pop of color, like put like champ on the lid and heavy metal in the inner corner, or just do an inner corner yellow pop. I think this is a really cute spring summer palette, and I think Trixie's palettes are really underrated. I think more people should try them. And then next I've got another Kaleidos palette. This is the Escape Pod. So I don't remember when this one actually came out. It's a couple years old now, but this is a really great spring summer palette. So it's very colorful. It's got beautiful shimmers, but it's also got some neutrals to ground it, especially if you're nervous by color. So the only complaints I have is that this orange and this orange are pretty similar. This one's a little more vibrant than this one, but, and then these two greens are pretty similar, especially on the eye, but I love them both, so I'll use them both and I'll use them up. But, you know, there's many days where I will use the neutrals and the greens, or the neutrals and like one of the shimmers. There's been lots of days where I wanted an easy sparkly look, so I just wore mascara and like Starlight Sonata. It's just this really pretty peachy shimmer that just adds a beautiful sparkle to the eye, but there's like multiple colors to it. There's like pink and green and gold. It's so pretty. It just doesn't look as, you can kind of see some of the different colored sparkle there. And then you've got some bright neon-y shades for people who like color and are a little more adventurous. So a lot of people have this, so I definitely recommend grabbing this and playing with it this summer. So, like I said in my intro, I like indie makeup and color. I have a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup, and there's a lot of that here. The next palette is the Nomad America's Parks palette. So this came out last summer. I did get this one in PR. I didn't get it. I paid for all the other ones that I've shown so far. I love this. This is a very, very good summer palette. It's kind of a grungy rainbow. Like you've got a terracotta instead of a red or an orange. You've got a yellow, you've got two greens, you've got a teal shimmer, and then you've got like a muted purple. So there's kind of a rainbow there, but not quite. But it's just so beautiful, so special. You can do monochromatic looks, you can do like a yellowy look, you can do like a warm tone look, you can do green, you can do a really beautiful smoky with this like purple and this purple brown shimmer. But you can also just do like the brown and the copper, or the brown and the brown shimmer, or some, you know, you can have it very neutral and quote unquote wearable. And the shimmers in this are just so special. Like you can see this one is like gold, brown, and purple. A lot of them have like a swirl to them. And one thing I really love about Nomad shimmers, and I've said this often, I've said this since I started buying them, you know, 2 years ago, is that their shimmers are really special in that they have sparkle. I don't really want to call it glitter because it's really fine. It's not like a pressed glitter. It's sparkle of other shades. So like this, the narrow shade is like an orangey copper, but I see pink, gold, yellow, maybe another shade in there of little sparkle. And so they're special because of that. Like it's not a shift, it's sparkle. It also helps that when you use them, it helps them like melt together even better somehow. I don't know. This is a beautiful palette. It just also screams summer. It's the national parks. People tend to go to them and go on vacation over the summer. So this was the first palette I grabbed when I thought of summer palettes. And then the second palette I grabbed when I thought of summer palettes was the Trixie Cosmetics Plant Gay. So I love this. This came out last summer. Such a good palette. Again, it's bright, colorful shades with some neutrals to ground it because Trixie. So it is plant themed. So it's also got pun shade names, which I love. So you've got a bright pink, you've got a pale yellow. So the other one had like a vibrant yellow. This is a very pale yellow. You've got like a pinky purple, you've got a couple neutrals, This Totally shade, it looks like Toad Ally, but it's Totally, is a really beautiful green shimmer. You've got green, teal, darker green. They're a glitter shade, but they're not like a pressed glitter. They're like a pressed glitter if it was finely milled and had a base to it, but they're not a shadow, like a shimmer. I don't know how to describe them, but they're really pretty. I Missed You is a really beautiful minty one. I love these. The fact that she also has a shade in here called Thorny on Main, just was too perfect. So I love Trixie. This is one of my favorite palettes from her. So if you like color and you like these colors, I really recommend checking this out. And just so you can see how big the pans are, if you've ever tried a Nomad palette, you can see they're bigger than a standard eyeshadow, and then they're square and they're pretty deep. So I will never stop recommending Trixie. Okay, so I've got 2 palettes left. The next one I think also came out last summer, I'm not sure, but another very colorful palette. This is the most expensive palette in this list, although I got it for half off, and it is the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. Colorful, beautiful. You can go dark and colorful, you can stay bright and colorful. This cotton candy shade does not work on my skin tone, but it does blend out Joker nicely. But this Fun to Mine shade, beautiful. It's definitely a shade I will grab for the summer. It's cream powder formula. So if I want like that really bright mint just on my lid and then like mascara and liner, that's the kind of shade I'll grab. I will never get over how much I love this Aerialist shade or Snow Cone. And I just love Natasha Denona's formula. And I think of it as a collection of singles because you can take them out and mix and match. And they're just, the quality is so good. It definitely, it's one of my favorite formulas. So I definitely recommend, if you have it, try pulling it out, try incorporating a shade or two into even some neutral looks. I think that's a fun way to do color. Put it on the lower lash line, put it on the inner corner or something. And if you're interested in it, I personally recommend waiting until Black Friday because you can probably get it half off. So the last palette I'm gonna mention today is the newest palette from Nomad for a little bit longer, and it is the Paradise Islands palette. So this was their spring palette, and they are coming out with a summer palette sometime in June. They've sneak peeked, I think, 2 shades so far. They're just, because of shipping issues, shipping is delayed, so they're waiting for their stock, and they don't really want to announce it until they, have a date of when they can sell it and ship it. So that'll come soon. But this is a perfect summery palette anyway. This is spring, summer, again, bright colors, fun, sun, very vacation-y. They partnered with 2 different, normally they partner with a charity and some of the money goes to that. This they partner with 2, and it's just so pretty. Again, you've got like greens and blues, you've got these warm pops. A lot of these are shades that, like sun or moon, are shades that like maybe put one of these mattes in the crease, put one of those on the lid, put some mascara on, go about your day. Very fun, bright, colorful, summery look. So I love this. If you want to try either of the Nomad palettes, I do have a discount code with them. It's not an affiliate code. I don't earn a commission from it. It's just bones, and I'll save you 10%. So always use someone's code or something to save some money. Never pay full price for anything, unless you absolutely have to. But I love this. This Stingray shade, if you watch my video on this, I was shocked at how pigmented it was. I love this. I've used this a lot. I think this is great quality. My one complaint is this Sky shade does not show up on my skin tone, but I've seen people paler than me use it, so it's just that I'm a medium olive and my skin eats this shade. But one shade that doesn't show up really is not that big of a deal, especially in a bright palette. That happens quite a lot. So, I mean, even Natasha Denona has a shade that doesn't show up on me, so. And that was $129 versus like 40 something for this one. So those are my picks and recommendations. I could have done like a top 20 or something, but I had to narrow it down to like 10 just because I didn't want it to be a crazy long list. And I hope you like my selection. Remember, you don't have to always go out and buy these. Sometimes you might have something very similar in this. I just want you to have inspiration to use what you own, especially if you have a larger palette collection like some people. And we sometimes need that inspiration. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the palettes, if there's any others that you think that you're gonna wear a lot this summer. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.